Okay.
And then we can, and if we need to, we put heat in. And the cool thing about it is sometimes just depending on the winter, we won't even need that. During COVID was our first year that we had to put the warmer things because we wanted to make sure we had everything we needed.
Yeah.
So we just covered it in plastic. So this turns into an actual basic greenhouse.
Greenhouse.
And the steam is in here, and it's so cool because you'll just want to hang out in here. It smells good, it feels good, and you can just come in here and just.
Temperature gets up to 74 degrees in here. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We did square gardening tool thing, and it really works well. So there's kale coming up here. All of this stuff, oregano and Swiss chard, I didn't pick out because I wanted to make sure we had, because while they were doing renovations around, I still wanted to have food that we could eat off. There's tulsi, holy basil sitting here, and then there's some plants back there starting to skull cap. I have a new plant that I just put over there with a little plastic lid on. I'm trying to generate, and that one comes from Africa. It's called the cancer bush.
Okay.
It's very, very important. It's supposedly takes care of every type of cancer. They don't talk about it a lot. We're going to South Africa in November, so I'm trying to get a little bit ahead. We're going to a place there, but I was so excited about this one because, you know, the doctors hide so much, and they really just don't want us to heal ourselves, and we really have the capacity to do that through food. So we eat out here basically almost every day.
I let him take some Latino kale.
Okay, so and then this one is from Jamaica, and it's also in most of the places like Brazil. It's called leaf of life plant. It's this one during COVID, it was very important. It's for your lungs and respiratory, and I can regenerate. I have made so many of the plants, but I lost a lot of them because again we were moving around. But it'll regenerate. So these are all leaf of life plants. Peppers, white sage are used for smudging, cleansing, and sage has the ability to actually really purify the house. And you know, people in all different cultures are use it anyway for purifying. And you know, we forget our traditions and we think that Western medicine is not. These things that now they found out with COVID that the air should be purified, and you could have did it all the time with white sage. It's just crazy. So there's more kale, there's more Swiss chard. So we have new plants and old plants mixed together. That way we never are without, you know. And then down here is some stinging nettle. I have some more kale. This is marjoram. I have some more. This is feverfew just coming up.
You taste this?
Yeah.
Smell it and taste it.
Oh wow! Even smells fresh.
Mm-hmm. Pungent.
We even have cannabis in here growing. I have cannabis over here, cannabis over there. Cannabis is used for so many different medicinal purposes too, from tea to pain, and you know, people always like to villainize one thing because that's what you want to say. But guess what? If you were hurt, I would rather drink a cannabis tea. You know, you can vape it or you can use it, but if someone in your family is ill and you're saying that, you know what, they have to take medication, I would rather than take that and use that instead of villainizing it. They talk about things. I've never used drugs before, but my husband was on 54 medications when I met him, and I detoxed him and got him off all of them. The only ones he's on is
you did.
And it's been 6 months. The doctors had given him up to die and said that he was going to be dead in 6 months when I met him.
It was in 2009.
No way.
Organ failure.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in a power chair for 5 years.
Those little crazy mushrooms popping up.
You were in a chair for 5 years.
Due to military injuries.
So that's mycelium going through.
Yep,
And
and she met me.
over there.
I met her on. How did we meet?
We met on Match.com. My daughter.
I just wanted her to see it.
30-day trial. And so I had been a businesswoman like for 30-some years in my own childcare business. And they were leaving town, my son and daughter. They were living in Atlanta. She said, "Mom, you should just talk to someone." And so he seemed harmless. He was in a power chair, and I love talking to people about healing. So I talked to him for 4.5 months without ever meeting him.
Wow.
And finally, I told him, I said, "I want to come see you and bring you some juice." And then when I saw him, I just started crying because he was in a power chair and his place looked like he was ready to check out, and it smelled like death. And I was embarrassed because he got out the power chair and could walk. I said, "What did I get myself into?" And I was telling my mom, but I really liked him. I had already just had bonded with him, you know.
Made a connection.
I made that connection, and then I asked him, "Well, did he mind me juicing him?" He said no. And then 6 weeks later, I told my son, and they were out of town. I said, "I know you guys think I'm crazy, but they know I have good sound judgment. I raised them as a single parent for so long." I said, "The guy that I've been talking to, he's very sick, and I can't stand where he lives at. I would like to take care of him and just see it." And I asked him to move out of this place, this apartment, and move into my house. I said, "Will you leave everything?" And he said,
That's amazing.
Mhm.
That,
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
It's crazy, but it's the truth. And you know, we were best friends, and but everything else just worked out. His doctors were angry with him because they told him he would never be off opiates. And I said, sure. You know, and they wanted to know who I was. I said, my name is Lawanda. That's who I am. Can't tell you anything else, but you know. So there's ginger growing here. I have some turmeric out there in the other beds. I have comfrey growing, which is a ground cover, and also good for aches and pains. You know, now I'm going back and I'm planting onions all around because those are barriers for pests.
Yeah.
And garlic, which won't be ready till the next year. So we're constantly planting things, taking things out. You're constantly eating, you're constantly changing, you're constantly feeding the soil, and you're constantly giving back. It's just what we should be doing.
Absolutely.
And my grandkids, our grandkids love it. They come out here and
Oh, I bet they have a blast gardening with you and everything.
you know,
Absolutely.
they can't wait to get back over here. That's their whole thing because we're trying to make sure that they stay off iPads and do something that's real. You know, it's just important. So, you know, me being a teacher for 35 plus years, I still get to teach with them, and I still get to do what I love, which is talk about plants and the relationship that we should have. So they go out and ground themselves in the grass. It's there. It's important. You know, instead of just being that.
Absolutely. This is amazing.
Yeah, and then I have this little plant right here. It looks weird, but that's actually Swiss chard. And I'm just getting the seeds because we put new soil on top. So that's just the tops of it because it's going down deep.
Swiss chard.
Yeah. And so those are just seeds that I'll be cutting off again.
Okay.
Yeah. We try to leave things for pollinators, you know, so when they come in, they'll come in and do what they need to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What kind of mushrooms did you say you're growing?
Those are not our mushrooms. They just came in the soil.
Natural.
And so
That's my next thing to do is raise our own mushrooms and worms.
But the mushrooms are so healthy that just lets you know what kind of good soil you have. Those are healthy mushrooms. Mycelium sheets are made throughout the soil.
Yeah.
They're the connectors like a brain.
Yeah.
It spreads through, so we love it when we see that because we know our soil is very healthy and thriving like it should and populating. So you'll see batches of mushrooms come up before a few weeks. They'll spread. Some of them will die out and then they'll go away. But it's the communication with the plants. So we love it. And it just spreads over the whole boxes.
And it's funny because my grandma used to garden, and so I remember as a kid just going through the garden, picking the mushrooms and eating.
mushrooms.
Like I'm absolutely floored by your guys' setup. It's gorgeous, amazing. It's so thought out.
It's, you know, and we've done this, what, 3 or 4 times?
Yeah.
We've done it over, and each time we just perfected. So this is, the boxes have been here. We've been doing this, but we have wood chips down. We were trying to mitigate the ants, and we had a lot of ants.
Oh, yep.
And the ants love this too because we don't use pesticides. So we got rid of that by putting the rocks down.
Oh, okay.
And now barrier cloths so we can eliminate. So it's a little dryness around. It gives us a chance, and we can use diatomaceous, which is ground up shells, on the ground if we need to. But we can manage the pest control by using essential oils and sprays like that.
Yeah.
It smells good. And I try to use, like most of the time, doTERRA. Just spray them because I use that too. And just mist out here. And you can use lemon, you can use oregano, anything that they don't like. They mostly don't like herbs.
Yeah.
So the plants, if you make them smell like herbs, the plants are smart, and the bugs will like, I don't want that. That's not what I'm looking for. They'll go look at something else. But we keep lots of flowers out here, so then they'll have something to have too, you know. Yeah, and these are kiwis that I planted this year. That's kiwis here. And then I have Jamaican guinea weed, and I'm excited about that. That's very helpful plant too for cancer and heart problems, and I have that on every corner. And strawberry Jamaican little cherries. It's a cherry tree. So we have a lot of good stuff and things that are medicinal, and also stuff that you can cook with that's very healthy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You never thought someplace in Las Vegas could produce a garden like this, huh? And this heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the heat
Exactly.
mostly,
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
We
Yep.
have so many aloes, and sorry, I had to take them out, so we only have 3 now. But the aloes were huge. We had like maybe 3 or 4 boxes full of them. But as they were taking things out, I was like, just go ahead and take them away. But I have 3, and I know, and then the little one at the table. They grow very fast, so we just separated them the other day. And then I just took all my indoor plants out to get them to air, and that's so very good. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, this is our life. We love being out here, and you know, everything is starting to produce and come back now. My little peppers are making peppers now. Yeah, you know.
Maturing and everything.
Yeah.
just smells so fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the first things I told them when I walked out. It just
Yeah.
feels fresh out here.
You know, the crazy thing is we spend so much money in stores like Sprouts and Whole Foods, and I do utilize those places, and I love them. Thank goodness that they're there, but you don't realize that the food is still not fresh.
Yeah.
It's radiated, it's kept in bags,
Yeah.
and you don't know where it's transported from, and by the time you get it, you can't look at the smell. I mean,
Yep, you
the
still
smells
smell
are
the
so
same
good.
right there on
It's
your
just like,
fingertips.
wow. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, but everything should have a smell. And as a kid, when I grew up,
Pungent,
you would smell things. You don't smell anything. Those
because
are
it
garlic
came from the
chives.
earth.
Yeah, because it's crazy. We don't get that. So you're eating vegetables and you're telling the kids to eat them, but they really don't have. They can't even
There's
tell
no
you what
flavor.
it is. There's no
Yeah.
flavor. There's nothing there. So my husband makes the fertilizer all natural, and so when he takes all of the scraps like I have here, the food scraps, and then he goes. We go to the mountains. We gather. What is it called?
Leaf mold.
Leaf mold.
Okay.
And that's
You know what that is,
mushroom
right?
Under.
Leaf mold after a decaying tree. What you do,
Oh,
you,
okay.
you just wipe off the top surface of the soil, and you'll see most likely a white filament that has invaded the soil structure. That is the product that's going to generate your damn liquid fertilizer. It's going to break down whatever you have in those buckets with dechlorinated water, distilled water. Put it in buckets. 10 to 14 days you can use it, but if it goes for months, it's perfect.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
The older it gets, the better it is.
Hmm.
And so he's the mad scientist to all of our natural fertilizers, which are wonderful because we're not using chemicals.
Yeah.
And then he does another one with fish emulsion. We go and get fish,
Hmm.
Okay.
and we break that down.
With leaf
naturally.
mold. Yeah.
And leaf mold.
Yep.
And so we all of the stuff he has over here, the irrigation system. So it feeds the beds, and he'll be doing that like what, maybe once a month.
Once a month.
Once
Yeah.
a month, so they make it through the summer, and then in the winter, things are not as sweet. In the wintertime, they're so sweet.
Sweet.
it's
Yes.
scary.
Intense.
Yep.
Yep. Like candy.
You'll say this
Yep.
is just like
Yep.
candy. Yeah, my grandkids, when they eat the sweet peas, they're like, they love them because they don't taste like vegetables.
Yeah.
And then, how can you get a child to like a vegetable when it's sweet? Swiss chard, the same thing. They're so sweet, and they just like break in your mouth. And it's full of water, we drink so much water now because we're dehydrated.
Yeah.
Because most of our liquids should come from plants.
Yeah.
Fruits, vegetables, but we don't know what that is. Your generation, I feel so bad because everybody's in concrete. Everybody, we're like in cubicles. Kids don't have places to play unless you got grandparents and they still have the land or they're out of the country. But here, we want everything to just be rubberized. The kids
Even the playgrounds, it's
All of
all
them.
rubber.
Yeah.
It's all rubber plastic.
My preschool was the only school that still basically had grass. I had grass, and they had to go out there, and they all knew what it was to get grounded, but I said, I can't believe it, and that stuff is caustic. I don't care if it is turf, it's caustic, and so we wonder why our children are so sick. They're sick because they're not connected. We are electricity, and so we're not grounded. It's just like they tell you that you can go and you won't get shot because we have rubber shoes on all day. We don't connect with the earth at all. So then we wonder why our bodies, and they're not charged. And that's why they tell us that your body needs to be alkaline, same thing, because it's electricity. So it's a simple thing. I didn't make it. Our Creator made us this way, and I'm wonderfully and thrilled and happy just to find out that we can do a lot better. And at our age, 65 and
You go over here?
68.
I'll be 70 next year.
I'm 1 year off. But we are doing what we used to do. Yeah.
Go down this aisle. He's still smelling the sage.
Yeah, I mean, it smells great.
So over here, some things that don't like as much sun, I like over here. So this is chamomile, one of my favorite plants. And when they start to come up, they bloom these wonderful little flowers, white and yellow, and they smell just like sweet green apples. They are so neat. So you just take those and you make your teas. It's good for calminess and beets. I have purple coneflower, which is echinacea, starting in the middle. Comfrey. Those are some cannabis plants right here in between because they don't mind the shade either. And so that'll come up. And over here again, mustards. And this is all stuff from last year. That's why it's kind of Jurassic looking. And they tell you that your plants don't last, and that's a lie too. These can go, as long as you pick from the bottom, and then you will eat fresh stuff all summer the next year. And then we just cut out the tops of them so they won't go to seed. So we don't let every plant do that, but most of them will do so we can continue to have food. And the same thing over here. Same thing with peppers. They can be a year old, 2 years, and they'll still grow and produce. We didn't let them get rid of this one. And there's more peppers over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
She called me the plant murderer.
Yes, yeah, he's saying
He
that
does.
because he used to just yank out my trees, and I would tell him, don't do that.
If they looked like they were in distress or weren't growing, I said, just take them out.
They don't understand. I said, they will stay there. You know, we think we have to start from year to year, but we don't. You can just transplant and take the leaves off and let them come back the next year. Even when they flower, if they flower, once they've done flowering, you can take out like the middle, and they'll just continue to grow.
Really?
You know, so you don't have to start everything over from scratch. Not
Yeah.
everything. You can still have some food growing while your new stuff is coming in. And that's what we did. We saved ourselves, even though the yard was totally stressed out 6 weeks ago, and we lost a lot. We still saved enough so we could come in and plant new things and still have food to carry us through. And then on the back side, we just we got some metal beds
Yeah.
to continue our growing. But as you see, we have little pollinators stationed all around. And in these beds, yeah, these are tobaccos. They're just weird and hibiscus. I collect the flowers from the hibiscus, so I can make hibiscus tea. I have sorrel out in the front yard, which is just even make it better. Jamaican sorrel. And these are going to be running all over the place. Squash, bitter melon, which is for Jamaica too, and then cantaloupe. I have some more ginger back here, and oh no, these are turmeric. I'm sorry, I just planted these turmeric. They just came in, so they are a little bit shady right now, but they'll just grow stronger as they're rooted. Grapevines. And this is just pineapple guava. And I have another pineapple guava over there. This is kumquat. This little bitty miniature dwarf one was so full of kumquats. It was crazy. Went to the shop, right back to the flowers. The flowers just dropped, so it's going to have some more. And these are all moringa trees around here.
Okay.
Yeah, so those will do well. And there's pineapple here. This is pomegranate right here.
Some of them didn't fruit for some reason, and maybe I think I waited too late to fertilize some of the fruit trees.
Yeah.
So this fall I'll be doing it again more aggressive. So 'cause last year we had fruit on all these trees.
These are the pineapples right here.
Yep. So look like that one may make it. I don't know. It takes about a year.
For them to grow and fruit.
Things coming up.
And
You
they
grow
grow
one-
their little trunk and everything.
Right.
like
They
that?
grow. Yeah. They grow one a year. So
Wow, just one pineapple from one tree?
One tree. Yep. So we plant some more down here in the other ones.
And they get huge too. Yeah, and that's okra. This one, for some reason, came up faster. All of that okra. And then in the middle is going to be African bird pepper. This is one of the hottest cactus that you can get. And it's right there growing in the middle, so they're going to be real big and bushy. And then the watermelon and the butternut's going to flow over this way.
This is all.
Yeah.
This is summer squash, and there's half and half, and then zucchini on the other half.
Tiny plants in between. And the mullein gets so huge, it's going to take over everything. But I have time because the mullein, the leaves is so soft, you can use it as a tissue. That's what they used to use it for. It's real fuzzy, and it's very good for respiratory.
The melon?
No, the mullein.
Oh, mullen.
Yeah, so mullein, they grow tall and they have these big flowers in the middle. The leaves about like this, and they're soft and furry, and you can just literally just bathe in them or use them for tissue. And so I have squash that's going to come forward, but the mullein is going to go up. So once the squash dies down, that mullein will live almost up until like maybe January. So I'll be harvesting the big leaves off of that because that's one of my favorite teas in the fall. It's the mullein. And to the back, there's a little bit of Jerusalem artichokes, and he has wildflowers. That's what you see in every box.
Okay.
Because we're, like I said again, we try to make sure we're friends with the pollinators.
Yeah.
This saves us from
That
doing a lot of
balance.
yeah, a lot of hand pollination.
The rest of the garden?
Huh?
You want to do the rest of the garden?
What part did I miss?
The actual fruit trees along the
Oh,
perimeter.
So I saw the water bin. You do little rain collection and stuff too?
yeah, that water is actually recycled. And we're doing the water collection that we just cut out the roof, and they have to put a little gutter on there.
Oh, okay.
So this is not growing yet. It's growing, but you can't see it. It's tiny, tiny like this. This is golden,
okay, yeah.
goldenrod. It's just peeking out. Takes 3 to 4 weeks, and June 2nd is when I planted it. So it's coming out. This is purslane here, and of course more bacon maybe, which is periwinkle. And here is this little plant. These plants I'm so excited for. They're called mimosa. The mimosa is called a sensitivity plant, and it's wonderful too for so many things. It goes from A to Z. So it's not native to here, and I really wanted to try it, so I got it in this little bit of area, and I think it's going to do good. And this is also from Jamaica. This is Guinea plant, and it's doing great. And these are Apatinas. This is a succulent, but this succulent is also good for coughs. This is curry. This is here every year, and then rosemary mixed in. I use this always in my stews, and I just collect that. It's a curry plant. And then let's go here. These are dwarf.
Okay.
Lemon lime, and another kimchi. And then this is pepper and molly. The little molly plants are almost like tortillas, and so they have a little paper casing on them when they come up, and they're growing in here with these peppers. They're doing good. That's a hawthorn bush. I collect hawthorns in the front because I have them in my front yard too. My front yard is edible too, on the low on the lowdown.
Since we're in the HOA community.
Yeah, so we hide stuff amongst things. So I have hawthorns, and those berries I'll collect from all of that, and I make my own hawthorn berry tincture. This is a chaseberry vitex, which is a very good elixir for hormones, especially for women. You know, for some reason they planted my pepper plant in the ground right there, and I didn't mind that when we did it. They took it out of the pot, but that's a pepper plant, and that's another hawthorn right over there. And then here, this is holy basil. And I saved some room because I need to do some sweet potatoes, and I haven't done them yet. So I'm going to put sweet potatoes in here, and this is another hawthorn. And I believe that might be another Jerusalem artichoke that's over there. And these right here, right now we started with these, and they're going to be raised.
Right, they'll be raised up to this level, so
there's
the plants will
they're
have
not gonna
height
stay
on them.
down. So then that way the height will go up on them. But right now, just to start them out, it's just covering them. Yeah. And this is another pineapple guava. The guava leaves are medicinal, excellent for everything, making teas, and also the plant. So that's a very good plant to have.
So what makes it a pineapple guava?
That's just the name of it.
It's just the name of
Because
it?
there are so many different types of guavas. But for this zone and area, mainly you find pineapple guavas.
Okay.
And they can take the heat or the sun, and they're also an evergreen.
Okay.
So all year long, I will have that pretty green. Even when these die down, so I'm putting some things up against the back for, you know, so you can still have that greenery. This is mulberries. People don't like to buy them in the stores because they're too messy. As you see, they bleed on the leaves. They're delicious when they're red.
Oh, here's
So
one
you
for her.
You can pick it. They can let her pick it if she wants to.
You want to come over here?
The purple ones, they are delicious.
You see it right there?
Their leaves are good for foods as well. So I take them and start taking them since the food is ripening, and I'll take them like maybe a handful, wash them, and dehydrate them or dry them out. And I'll be stocking those.
Oh my God, that's amazing. That just burst.
Did you try them too?
I did when I came out here.
Yeah. So we share this year. We're sharing them with the birds. I didn't put a net on them. They look like, come on, you guys are already did enough for us.
I'm gonna have to shave the top.
You know, in time for
I'll shave the top of the limbs and then throw a net over it.
Yeah.
hibiscus. I do the same thing. I'll come out. If it's 5 flowers, I'll take 1 or 2, and
Jake.
that way it keeps them increasing, and they keep giving. And then I'll leave a few for the butterflies and stuff and whatever else. These are apples. We didn't have just one.
Apricot this year.
Yeah, just one. I don't know why.
It's because of fertilization.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
No, the Mormon tree, they say you'll get 1 year and then they take off for 2 years.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
1 to 2 years in between they do that. So that's a
really?
help. Yeah, but I've always had one as a kid, but I never noticed that because you have so much stuff. But I said, well, let me find out if something is wrong. Beautiful, it's full. We have 2 of these trees, but this year
One is a
we had
Russian
lot.
apricot tree down the
That's
other
a
end.
Russian, right? But the Mormon one is every other year. Yeah. So these lemon and limes, we won't put these in the ground until it gets cool. So right now, my husband's just gonna baby those because they're just gonna be baby because they're brand new. Yeah, we didn't ever get trees this size.
Yeah.
So this is the first time. So we want to make sure because all of these trees we planted these from babies.
Okay.
They were little.
Since I'll be 70 next year and she's unmentionable, I don't want to wait until I'm 80 to see the tree grow.
Right. And since our other trees were already big now, they said they can put them in, but we won't transfer them. We're just gonna make them real healthy. And this one, our fig tree, we get brown mission figs always. We've been picking. I've already had 2 batches made muffins that's on the counter from them, and I freeze those too so I can make muffins and stuff during all the year. Yeah. Our grapevines. Oh, this is ashwagandha.
Yep.
So the ashwagandha was attacked with these beetles. I sprayed it, and it looks like it's getting better. But the ashwagandha root is what people use, and they pull it up from season to season in India. I did not do that. I used the leaves and the berries And the pronunciation I cannot tell you. It's that's how long it is. But these little red berries are good also. They turn green first. Some people say they're toxic, but they're not. They use them in India for a lot. I use the leaves for teas. This is an adaptogen, just kind of balances you out no matter what. And I never got to the roots because this thing was supposed to die and it's never died. Yeah. And so I take transplants from it and I'll put it in other places and give it to people. These are grapes. These are the little champagne grapes.
Mm-hmm.
And
they have seeds in them too.
They have seeded, so they're seeded. I like to make sure they're seeded. But this little crazy pest got to them. All the flowers, all the leaves, all the grapes were gone. And now they're giving us new ones. But this time we have a chance to catch them. I'll be spraying them in on this like every other day. I couldn't catch them before. And this one is a pear, and this is a lime tree.
It hasn't given us any lime.
But one or two. And this one we've had for a long time. It struggled. And so, but it finally came out this year. So yeah, but the pear was okay. And then we got another one. This is a Mexican lime, so it's like the little tiny. The seeded ones, which I love, and they're healthy for you, more alkaline. So, but I won't plant that and put it in the ground until we know that it's really healthy and it's cool. But it'll still, give us everything we need because it's big enough.
And these are nasturtiums.
Yeah, nasturtiums. That's from our old garden. Stuff is just coming out the ground. And the same thing with that right there, they're rooting.
Oh, yeah.
This is stuff like, no, we're not doing that. Yeah, because this was another garden bed that we had over here too. We just changed the style, took out the wood chips and all of that. And this wonderful thing is an old-fashioned signature. Let them know that they're in the country.
So that is the nickel tour, I'd like to say. But this is our Back to Eden garden that we have on our YouTube page. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous. Like I said in the beginning, like the whole, as soon as you walk out, it's just a different
vibe.
Even temperature-wise.
Yeah, it is.
Because everything's alive back here.
Right.
And we were scuffling. We were praying and saying, we love you guys doing our house, but we can't wait for you to finish. Because everything was dying right in front of us, and we couldn't help it because all of the nets were pulled back. The gardens were exposed. They were working, and they did such a wonderful job. But, now it's back in our hands, and now we are just running through bathing. They're sick of seeing us with the nursery. We need more dirt. We need more. Because, they know us, but we were happy to get our Eden back. So this is what we love. Everybody loves what they love. They have their pools and their music, and we have our music and our plants. This is our Back to Eden. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Thank you so much for the tour.
You're very welcome.
Look, if you guys got a tour, you're welcome to come back anytime. Come and visit us. Yeah, if you want to bring your family, your kids, we're open. I'm from the School of Natural Healing, which is the herbal triage, and I have a channel as well with my herbs as a master herbalist.
Epicurean and herbalist.
We have the Epicurean and the herbalist, me and my daughter, where she talks about wonderful things and inventions to go with the plants, and I talk about plants all day. Yeah. And basically, it's just education. I like to talk about things that have to do with families and kids, easy ways, because sometimes we make it really hard. Yeah. And like I said, even your child eating a fruit salad. That's so easy.
It could be a hassle.
And it can be a hassle, but so easy.
But our grandchildren come out here and they just gorge on the vegetables without the salad dressing.
And you're not cooking. You just saved yourself some time, and you made your child a lot healthier. They have to go out to school. They're going to have to socialize, and you just boosted their immune system. I give them rosemary tea, taking just a few little tips off of there, put them in the hot water with some wonderful honey, a little zest of lemon, and you made something wonderful. These concoctions can be made by mom and dad every day, and it's for yourself. But we're in a crazy world, and we have to learn to help out a lot more, because everything is fast food, fast life, and we're stressed out. And I know my kids are busy all the time. They're working, they're running, and I realized, and I said, well, something has to give, because it's too easy, and it doesn't take a life to get your nutrition. Throw them in the backyard, get a little area where there's some green grass, so they can ground themselves and they can learn, and then they won't be so uptight,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Exactly.
I loved it.
So now you can tell people that you're inspired to start your own garden.
Oh, absolutely.
You don't only say, well, I live in an apartment. Well, that's 2 square feet with the towers.
Yeah.
So,
tower gardening, you can do all of the above.
Yeah. I've been telling my roommate, because I've seen them on Amazon. I'm like, we should just get the tower garden.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you want the tower garden, I'll tell you, get the one that's got the deeper pockets. What's this called? Stalks. The one.
Oh yeah, the green.
Refuge.
Yeah, the green
stalks.
ones. Green stalks.
Green stalks. Why? Because it'll allow you to grow things like Swiss chard because it has deeper pockets, and it's, you know, so the pockets are longer. I really do my microgreens in here, and I got some dandelions because I know I got all these other beds. But if you want to grow everything mixed, get the green stalk. Green stalk, and it's cheaper.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't get green stalk, but I'm okay because I got garden beds. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you can have anything you want on your balcony, and I think it holds up to like 80. So you got, imagine, 80 plants.
That's a lot of.
80 choices to grow what you want.
You have a lot of food. Yeah.
Which in the long run is going to keep you from going to the grocery store getting certain
Exactly.
items because you can grow your own food.
Yeah.
That's part of living sustainably and reducing your carbon footprint.
And rosemary, you know, is everywhere, but it's so medicinal for viral. It's an antiviral. Rosemary, thyme, tarragon, oregano. You can put those in a pot, and there you have all your antivirals instead of saying I have to be on this syrup, I have to be on this medicine, and then they put you on an antibiotic. But if you're keeping the body healthy with those things, and if they don't want to eat them, drop them in your soup, drop them in some of their foods. It just makes it simple.
And being that I was a medical student, which they didn't teach you these things in med school about herbology and stuff like that. You know, I come here. I gave it a hard time when we met because all I knew I was medically trained.
He was.
But this has taught me a world that really would teach you to live. And as she said, what she taught me, they didn't talk about alkaline blood profiles in college and in med school. If your blood is alkaline, you can't get a disease.
No.
Because
No
your blood,
disease.
but if you eat root plants like potatoes all the time, carrots, parsnips, that's all you eat, and meat, then your blood profile is going to turn acid. So,
pH is lower.
right, your pH is going to be lower, so you invite more diseases. I learned that from her, not in med school.
And he learned well because I was helping him, and I shut up. You see, because he knows it now. Because it's acidic.
And I live it.
Yeah, acidic, and you know, and again, I mean, I'm not perfect. You know, we had breakfast out this morning, and we rushed around, and I'm like, okay, but I try to balance it. If I've done that a couple of times this week, I have beet juice in there made already. I'm about to make a green juice. I'm gonna go against the odds because you have to fight back. If you don't, and then we're looking at my grandchild, my daughter always telling me, she says, Mom, you know, she hasn't been to the bathroom, and I said, okay, she needs to drink water. You know, hydrate your body, but you know, water is excellent, but also fruits and vegetables because they carry the fiber, the nutrients, and they help you to get alkaline. So, you know, with kids that are picky eaters, find their favorite fruit or vegetable. Watermelon season is here. It's one of the best alkalizing seeded watermelon. With seeds in it, fill them up with watermelon all day long. Fresh apples and juicy oranges. Or you've already had the half of the battle. Just change that out for the foods. If it's not living, that's the thought. And say, is this living? So if you do at least 60% of your food that's living a day, imagine how far ahead you don't even have to go on a diet. No, seriously, I can never gain weight if I'm eating like that. I cannot, and I eat food all day long. I cannot. I'm like, wow. I had some nuts. I had some cashews. I made a nut milk. I'm doing, but because I'm constantly, and we haven't even worked out in the last probably
months, almost a year.
Almost a year, and we usually work out. We were doing 7 miles
a day on our bikes.
And since the construction,
35 miles a week, 140 a month. We're talking about on bicycles, so now we get ready to start that up again since all the renovations through now.
But even with that, it's just because it keeps you so healthy. So you know, it's worth it. You're young. If you don't have children, it's good for you. It's good for you to start out now because now you have this is the foundation. The foundation for a healthy mind, body, soul, and spirit. Nothing works without that. You got to have the foundation. You know, everybody wonders why so many people are killing folks. They're angry. They don't know they're suffering from malnutrition. They are. When you're not fed right, your mind is not going to work right. Children that they label with ADHD and all these different things, basically it's definitely a nutrition and a deficiency. And I know because that's my profession. After 40 years of taking care of children, and every time they come to me, because I never ever gave them just store-bought food, I cooked in my center. You know, I made them homemade oatmeal, and in the oatmeal there was sea moss in there. I put Irish sea moss. I put all kinds of greens in there. They didn't even know it, and they loved it because I covered it with cinnamon and cloves and honey, or either agwabi, raw agwabi. So they couldn't taste it, but this was like the best stuff. And my kids are on it still right now. It's like crack oatmeal, you know. and I put flaxseed and hemp seeds in it. And right now my son's mom, I'll be by there tonight just to get 8 or 9 bags because it keeps his children going. But we can change the way we eat. You just have to learn to say fast foods. Fast food should be going to the garden. A fast food should be an apple or banana. That's a fast food. You know, eat some greens. That's
An
a fast
activity
food.
outside and not
Yeah.
on electric iPads or
Yeah.
yeah.
But start slow. If you have kids, you bribe them, just like you do with any. Bribe them. Don't fight with them. You know, you want to play with your iPad tonight? Oh, what happened? My grandkids come over. They start out with a fruit plate in the morning. Gives me a chance to make that breakfast that they want. They want pancakes. Their pancakes are made with spelt flour, bananas, and I mash them up and put it in cinnamon. They think they're the best thing in the world. Coconut oil on top, slathered, and then they have a guava on it. And they think that this is just
The treat.
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah. So we can win, but you just have to start slow. Don't, you know, I don't force them, and they don't even think. They just, and they know that they're going to get soup for lunch. But you know what? Then that's when I'll pop up with something I don't make, and maybe ice cream, the vegan ice cream sandwich, you know, for dessert. But they know they made it through the day, like eating good stuff, getting out here playing sorbets and stuff like that. But you know, it could be fun. Doesn't have to be just like, oh, I hate this stuff. Yeah.
And when they discover what a rock is and a stick, and they forget, they're having so much fun, they forget about their iPads,
Yeah.
and we don't give them to them.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to actually think about when a child is engrossed in looking at that electronic intensely, what's it doing to their brain? It's retarding them. You may say, well, they're learning. No, they're not. They're actually, their brain is shrinking and dying because they're not getting that social interaction that they need.
Yeah,
See.
they need the movement, just like the plants. Everything is a success. It's a success even when it dies. You know why? Because we put forth that effort, that energy to plant it and to try. It's only not a success and it's not fruitful when we don't do anything. And the same thing with kids. When you're staring at a pad all day long, what are you doing? You're just watching someone else do that. But when you have children to interact, to do something, even if they're in a fight or a quarrel with their brothers or sisters or about homework or you making them do a chore, it's successful because they're learning something through that. They're learning how to problem solve. They're learning that I can't just get my way. They're learning something out of it. It's not a success when we don't try. And that's how I look at my life. I don't care if I'm 99 and a half years old, and that's a pack. We want to be like the bicentennial and leave out together.
You seen the
But
Bicentennial movie?
The bicentennial
Yes.
it's our love story, but if that doesn't happen, it would be not a success if I quit doing what I know I love to do.
And
And
vice
the same
versa.
thing with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna keep trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, thank you very much.
We trust that you learned something today, that you've been inspired,
Definitely.
that you've been inspired, that it really drives you to say, you know what, I can't keep going to the store giving them my money when I have the ability to buy a pack of seeds
Yeah.
and some soil in a
And
container
start doing
and
that.
start doing it yourself.
And can I give you guys one more tip? One more little tip. This tip is that if you can do any of this, there's a way, and it's a secret, to garden every day, and it won't cost you but pennies, and you'll have food, and the best food ever. Microgreens, grow them on your counter, and if you're afraid you're gonna mess it up, you can soak them overnight for the 8 hours like you're supposed to. Take the water off them, put them in, drain it off, put them in the refrigerator and watch them. They'll sprout anyway. You won't get fungus, you won't get any mold, because sometimes people they forget and they leave them out and they don't rinse them. I'm a fanatic, so I'm gonna rinse mine and make sure. But if you're not gonna do that, once you do the initial, with that in some grapeseed water or some kind of vinegar the first time, put them in the refrigerator and you'll have greens sprouting up in the jar, live food. You can juice them.
Didn't we
Throw
do
them in your juice.
We did a video.
Yeah, I did do a video on that too. You can juice them or you can throw them in your soups. But microgreens and little sprouts have 40 times the nutrients as those big leaves out there. That's the secret. 40 times more power in the little tiny, like those coming up. You want to know why? Because they were just born just like us. They just burst out and they got all that energy. They have enough energy to make them to a full plant. So you're getting that plant at its very, very premium. And so you can take like a half of that's why they sell them for so expensive in the stores. Little microgreens. You can have like maybe 2 teaspoons of those and they garnish your salad with that. But it's power packed. Put that in a juice and their smoothies with bananas and blueberries. They'll never know it. Same thing for yourself.
Get your
So
blender,
start easy.
mow your garden, get your blender, and blend your way to life.
Yeah.
So I got a favorite saying, and it's off of Shawshank Redemption. I don't know if you saw the movie.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman talked to an actor called Andy Dufresne, and he was escaping, accused of murder, didn't murder nobody. You know what he said? Get busy living or get busy dying, but you can't do both.
That's right.
So you got to choose
Yeah.
this day.
Yeah. Every day.
All right, guys. Thank you so
very
much.
much.
We're honored that you wanted to take your time.
Oh yeah, of
To-
course.
to-
I'm thankful for you guys for actually
taking
giving
the
us
time
that,
with us,
yeah,
too.
taking that
No
time and
problem.
showing us and
We enjoyed it
talking to
thoroughly.
us and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really much appreciate it.
You know, no
Definitely
problem.
learned something today.
I'm always learning every day. That's what I was doing. I'm in school, and that's what it's all about. But it's nothing if I don't share it with someone else.
Yep.
Nothing. Yeah,
Each one, teach one.
that's right.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Take
Thank you
care.
so much.
Okay.